We are live. TaeJa, right now, a lot of fans a little worried. Is he going to be able to pull this one off? First is looking mighty fine, at least after that first game where we saw TaeJa just kind of dismantle one arm and then rip off another arm and just walk all over him. But First has certainly changed his tune a little bit here in games 2 and 3. Let's introduce our players here in the north position as the blue Protoss from LGIM. It is First. And in the south position as the red Terran. He needs to win this game in order to stay alive and force it to a 5th and final game. It's Liquid TaeJa.
Yeah, and I mean, going into this match, not a lot of people would have taken First. One of the notes I have written down on kind of the scouting report on First is that he has a lot to prove. And I think even taking 2 of these first 3 games, he's kind of proven himself to a lot of people in PvT, T being TaeJa, which is a very difficult matchup for a lot of Protosses.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, too, is that when we mentioned all the things that TaeJa is actually quite good at, one of the things that was mentioned a couple of times is his ghost control.
Right.
And there's no doubt that, unfortunately, his ghost controls fell short in Game 2, and that was one of the reasons why he was not able to win that game. So, you know, while you can't really chalk it up, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't use ghosts against him. He needs to bring that patented, this is the control, and this is the, my usage of them is you know, top notch. And I think he absolutely needs that versus such a tough Protoss opponent like First.
Absolutely. And, you know, we've seen TaeJa play very well this series, but kind of his trademark TaeJa-isms have been missing. As you mentioned, his Ghost Aura, he hasn't been aggressively sniping those observers as we typically see. Yeah, he's done it once or twice, but not time and time again as he's absolutely famous for. So, you know, you really do need to be on that highest of highest levels to take out a Protoss like First, as you mentioned.
Yeah, First, I mean, what is he going to do in this game as we are just ramping up here? One thing to note right away is that the Chrono Boost is certainly starting to stack up here on the Nexus. He takes his second gas before the Cybernetics Core finishes up. And where is that Marine? This probe still doing the dance inside the main base. He's eventually going to get taken out here, but certainly making his little probe legs work. And did he see the factory go down? No, he didn't see it, but it shouldn't really matter because he had the gas. He saw the second gas. Now the SCV is going to see everything going on inside the main of First as well. Not a whole lot to report, but does see the double gas. Just sees the one gateway, and that warp gate's on its way.
Yeah, and First missed 2 pieces of critical information. He missed the factory, but he also missed the second refinery going down for TaeJa. So, you know, seeing the second refinery, seeing the factory, that doesn't really tell you a whole lot. Of course, it tells you you're teching and not expanding, but he probably could have inferred that anyway. But missing that second refinery, you know, that really would have closed the book on the amount of build orders that TaeJa could have been doing here.
Yeah, and actually, I thought he had seen it, but you're right, after looking a little bit closer at his vision. And now we've got, well, we've got a barracks, factory, and the starport finishing up here. What does TaeJa have in mind? What is his little genius Terran brain trying to come up with? First is going to drop down his robotics facility as he continues to drop Chrono Boost there on Warp Gate, and of course his Nexus has gone down. And this Hellion finds this probe, which is a nice little capture. He'll be able to take him out, no problem at all. But just knowing that you've taken out a probe that could potentially put down a pylon and apply some aggression is a great place to be in. However, with this Nexus finishing up and no, you know, no particular expansion in sight for TaeJa, is he going to go for another very, very aggro and aggressive build? We see that this time the Cloak Banshee is coming out. And definitely much different than we're seeing in the last game. So curious to see if this will actually pay off for him.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a 1-1-1, but he's absolutely not going to do that. He drops the command center, so opening up with the 1-1-1, but not using it to apply any sort of aggression. First, in the past, has had very timely observers, often before TaeJa even has his first Banshee out. And this game looks like it's going to be no different as both are coming out at the same time. TaeJa is getting cloaked this time on the Banshee, so wants to be a little bit more aggressive with them, use them as harassment as opposed to just direct attacking tools. Now he's completing his build, rounding out a tech lab onto that barrack so you can begin the stem upgrade. First, fairly standard 3 gateways, robo, double observers out, so he really wants to get an eye on what TaeJa's up to.
Yeah, and you know what? That double observer is pretty much negating Cloak right now. Is the first one went over to his opponent's base, and the second one just perfectly within the main base of first. So he is really going to be able to make the amount of damage that TaeJa is going to be able to do. He'll minimize that very, very much, very effectively. He might be able to take a couple out, but in the grand scheme of things, if the observer would have been off or he would have built the robo a little bit later, he might have been able to flip-flop back and forth, and effectively this Banshee's kind of over and done with already.
We've got a second Banshee on the way, but look at this, actually chronoing out a second observer, so he's well aware of this back and forth Banshee play that TaeJa may be doing. He's got an observer on the high ground and the low ground, TaeJa continuing to harass. So, he's not going to be happy with how much damage he's, oh my god, actually losing the Banshee.
Yikes.
Very surprising. I was going to say, he'll keep them both alive and be happy that he just killed some probes, but not happy that he killed as many as he would have liked.
Yeah.
He lost the Banshee.
Yeah, I mean, really not a whole lot of probe deaths at all. In fact, I Am First still has the lead in the probe count. And, from here, you've got, you've still got the 3-gate robo pumping out some immortals, the double forge going. So I suspect that he could be gearing up here for a, a nice little third base as well. But this Banshee has made a return, now fully healed up. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything.
No, I mean, there's observers everywhere around first base. He's got him in the main. He's got him at the natural with this army. There is actually an observer in the main base, but there's a Raven out for TaeJa, so that's going to be able to snipe that observer. But that observer saw everything in the main base of TaeJa. Unfortunately, it didn't see this third command center at the bottom left, so TaeJa taking a very quick third. And look at this, a probe swinging around to try to make a third for first, but the Banshee knew it was coming and waited and hunted.
Yeah. And took his kill and then put his head up in his mantle for the trophy room. But even delaying that just a little bit is going to be beneficial to him. We now see a nice group of Marines heading out. Another observer was heading on over, so he's going to be pretty oblivious to this actually happening. And with some additional Banshees, and also effectively a point defense drone here that he could throw down. He doesn't quite have the energy for it yet. He's still about 10 away. So we'll see exactly what he plans to do here. Is he just going to go in and attack the third? He is.
Now, this is a very dangerous build, but he's going in, trying to snipe down the Stalkers, actually. One so close to going down.
Oh, wow.
Now able to take down a few sentries. And look at this, stimming forward, killing a ton of units, and now coming back, taking his kill, which is going to be the Nexus. But first will not give it up that easily. He's going to charge down the ramp, dancing back and forth, and look at that, forced to cancel. What a timing TaeJa hit here.
Yeah, really nice as well. And he did snipe that first observer. A second one had to come out. But with no medevacs, minimal stims, it looks like now the Colossus out. He's going to go ahead and chase this here. And TaeJa not quite expecting that to happen. However, there's the observer. And the observer, nice job. He drops that point defense drone down just perfectly. And that actually worked out for TaeJa to be able to save everything. But, and he picked off the observer. So nicely done. He's making it work. The Raven does fall. But he does get a little bit more damage done there.
And I think he sniped the observer as well, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, he did.
And we've got a Cloaked Banshee coming into the third, so probably not going to be able to focus down that Nexus, but we'll see how quick it's dropping here. Looks like it's about 1 for 1, so he's going to be fine getting another one. But we've got a drop in the main base here. A few bio units trying to get some work done, but first is quick. Sniping off one of those medevacs, second one going to be able to load up and get away.
Yeah, it does nothing at this point. And guess what? He might be able to get that Nexus. And he could gear up for a second drop if his opponent actually decides to go for it. He left a few Stalkers inside the main. So there's still danger there. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it before some units move out and get rid of this guy with the observer.
Oh, but a big drop in the main by TaeJa yet again. He flies over some Stalkers. So the Stalker's going to be able to pick up one of the medevacs, but look at this. He goes straight for the Nexus. This is what you do. Pull your opponent in one direction and then slam him in the head in the other direction. And then you don't kill the Nexus just to taunt them and then go back and finish the job. I don't even know First is going to be able to clean this up without losing a significant portion of his army.
Yeah, well, he
TaeJa
definitely
loads up and flies out. So there's that.
Losing that Nexus. Now, keep in mind, you mentioned like keeping that Nexus low jokingly, but over at that third base, it is already low. And there's another little force moving out here. If he can bring that drop back in and really separate out these units, but First is ready. He's got a few Stalkers there. Oh, he just queued it up, and he's going to lose the medevac, so that's going to be wildly unsuccessful, and it does not split the Protoss army at all. But TaeJa did snipe that Nexus while he got his third up, so he's in great shape economically.
And look at what's going on behind this. TaeJa is continuing to crash into the third. Oh my god, he might stand and just focus it down. That's exactly what he's going to do, and he's going to be able to absolutely take that out. Going to sacrifice his army, try to jump into the medevacs, but that's not going to happen. Just flies away. So First is down to one base. TaeJa's building his fourth base, and I mean, there's not a lot of counterattack possibilities here. Just look at the army supplies. Very similar despite the harassment going back and forth. TaeJa at 128 supply, First warping in a few more units. He's pretty much going to probably go all in. I don't recommend it, but he seems to be moving that way.
Yeah, I mean, both Nexus going down are just crazy. Oh, there's a nice blink forward. Picks off one of the medevacs, misses the other one. But, I mean, in all in, there are no... Actually, there's 2 Vikings out. So, before I speak here. But the 3 bases alone is just so astronomically good. Now, this is kind of scary because I was waiting for that force field to come out. And TaeJa did not want to put himself on the low ground.
Oh, wow.
Which means that he might get his revenge here, Chill, and take out one of his opponent's bases. Are we going to run out of force fields there? Another one, but he's focus firing down the sentries. And,
very nice force field, keeping him isolated and then blinking forward to take out all the Vikings as they fly in too close. So this is not an all-in. First is just trying to be aggressive while he reestablishes his third. One Colossus is down. There goes the scan. The Observer's taken out. And First would probably do well to retreat here and be proud of what he's done.
Yeah, he actually could have taken out that other Colossus as well, but a couple of Zealots did move their way into the third, doing a lot of damage over here as we look over. We got the SCVs moving back. But where's the rest of the army to take care of those guys?
God.
There it is.
Is the natural going to burn down?
Oh my gosh.
No!
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Well, he's going to just have to move that.
Well, there's one right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. The little victories.
Nope. You know what? He's like, that's cool. I was going to attack with these guys anyway. like all of them. Like every single one of them. Revenge. And so now... we have certainly got a large army for TaeJa moving over. Is he going to be able to do it right here? He's up against 3 Colossus. How many Vikings does he have? He currently has 6 Vikings, which is actually pretty good. They're going to move out of the way, but these SCVs looking to come in and get their hands dirty, and here we go. Moving forward, blink back by the Stalkers. I think that First is kind of thinking, well, wow, that looks like a lot, and I need to be careful here. But he decides to go directly for that natural, the only Nexus that he's yet to kill in this game.
And First actually blinking forward, trying to keep his Colossi protected. He knows they're the linchpin to this army. He's got to keep them in the back while the Stalkers are able to focus down the Vikings. Looks like TaeJa just wants to charge forward to the main. That's a dangerous position as he gets force fielded and gets isolated. The Colossus just raining terror down from the back. Stalkers trying to deal with the Vikings and snipe them down. Looks like 2 Colossi remaining, and they are actually going to town, smashing, bashing, and lashing at this TaeJa army. But here he comes, the force fields are down, and looks like TaeJa has actually broken through. Incredible. Wow.
There it is. GG. And look at, remember